Radha Radha everyone. On behalf of Radha Mani Satsang Singapore, welcome to the second day of this series, How to Find True Everlasting Happiness. It is truly an honor to have Swami Maheshvaranand amongst us today. Now, please join your hands together for Swamiji. I would now like to invite Uttar Uncle and Sunita Auntie to come forward and present a garland to Swamiji. Now, I would like to kindly request all of you all to please silence your phones to avoid any form of disruptions. Now, I'll hand it over to Swamiji. Radha Radha.
One, two. बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की अज्ञान तिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। कस्तूरीतिलकं ललाटपटले वक्षस्थले कौस्तुभं नासाग्रे वरमौक्तिकं करतले वेणुं करे कंकणम् सर्वांगे हरिचन्दनं सुललितं कंठे च मुक्तावली गोपस्त्री परिवेष्टितो विजयते गोपालचूडामणि नमः कमलनाभाय नमः कमलमालिने नमः कमलपादाय नमस्ते कमलेश यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै अघ्नदेवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशम् मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। प्रिय भक्त समुदाय, दिव्यात्माओं, महानुभाव, dearest devotees of the Supreme Lord, the Divine Souls. First, let me say Radhe Radhe to each and everyone. And my humblest pranam, my humblest prostrations to each and every one of you here this evening. Today again we are at the Bala Subramanian Mandir in Ishu, second day of the series. Before we go into today's talk, please join me in chanting the divine name of the Lord for a few minutes. This will help us to focus our mind, to bring our mind here, so we can benefit more, enjoy more, and benefit more. Very simple chant. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, chant the name of Sri Krishna. Hari means Sri Krishna. Hari Bol, Bol, Lele, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. By chanting Hari Bol, we'll get the benefit of Hari, of God, Sri Krishna. We'll make Him ours forever. Yaha waha jaha kahi muh bol. Wherever, here, there, anywhere, the moment we open our mouth, the name of God should come. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Yah naam ratan anmol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. This name, Hari, is a jewel, priceless jewel. Why? Naam kari pabudha nij sarva shaktis. God has taken all His power and put in the name. He's sitting in the name. So when we take the name of God, whether it's Hari, Ram, Krishna, Radha, we have to have the feeling that Sri Krishna is in the name itself, Radha Rani is in the name, etc. Ittabol, Uttabol, Jittabol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Here, there, everywhere, wherever we speak, take the name, chant Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Aate, jaate, khate, peete, jab bhi bol, Hari Bol. Whether we are coming, we are going, whether we are eating or drinking, as soon as we open our mouth, we should chant Hari Bol. So let us sing this beautiful and think about Sri Krishna, that He is in the name itself, we get more benefit. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Bol, Lele, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Bol, Lele, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. बहुत बोल, हरि बोल हरि बोल। बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। आप सावधान हो जाइए, Now please try to be attentive and listen carefully. Remember from yesterday's lecture, the conclusion is that we all want only one thing in this world. That is called sukh, happiness. We all want only happiness. And until and unless we don't attain that happiness, we'll continue to be frustrated, we'll be stressed, we'll have tension, we won't have any peace. Until we find that happiness. The question comes, why do we want only happiness? Answer is simple. We, meaning the soul Atma. Yesterday, we went in detail that we are not the body. This body belongs to us. Whatever belongs to us cannot be us. So we are the soul Atma. Jivatma, many things. And the soul, the scripture tells us, the soul Atma is a fraction, a part of God, Ansh. Chinmatam Shri Hareransham Suksham Aksharam Apayam Krishna Dhinamita Prahu Jivam Jnana Gunashrayam Ved. The Vedas say, Hari Ansh. Shri Hari Ansh. The soul is Ansh, fraction of God, Hari. Vedanta Sutra, Brahma Sutra also says, Ansho Nana Vyapadeshat. Every soul is a fraction, Ansh, a part of God. In the Bhagavad Mahapuran, Vedavyas repeatedly asserts this fact. Hare Deha Vritamatma Swayam Prakriti Tatpadamulam Sharanam Yatakshemo Ninamiha. Bhagavad Mahapuran, 4th Canto, 29 chapter, 50th verse. Being the soul of all souls, Shri Krishna is the source of our love. It's our nature to love Him. We can't help it. Just as we love ourselves, the soul of this body, the self, is dearer to us than anything else. In the same way, our soul is the body of God. Yasya Atma Shariram Yasya Aksharam Shariram Ve. The Jivatma is the body of Paramatma. So, He is the soul of our souls, so it's our fundamental nature to love. Again, Harir hi sakshat bhagavan charina matma jhashana mivato yamipsitam. Bhagavad Mahapuran, 5th Canto, 18th chapter, 13th verse. Vedavyasji said in Bhagavad Mahapuran, just as a fish, when caught in the net of a fisherman and brought on dry land, the fish flaps and beats itself and desperately struggles to return to water, its natural abode. In the same way, the individual soul feels restless without God. This feeling of restlessness, fretfulness, disquietude will stay with us until we attain God and go to His divine abode, which is our eternal home. Again the Bhagavad asserts, Krishna me namavehitva matma namakhilatmanam jagadhitaya sopyatra dehiva bhati mayaya. Bhagavad Mahapura, 10th canto, 14th chapter, 55th verse. Shri Krishna is the soul of all souls. Atmao ke Atma hai Shri Krishna. Shri Krishna himself asserts this fact in the Gita when he says, Mamaivansho jivaloke Jiva Bhutah Sanatana. Chapter 15, verse 7, Gita. Shri Krishna said to Arjuna, the Jivatma, the individual souls, are eternal, Sanatan, eternal parts, fractions of me, God. Okay, so we are part, fraction of God. But what does this have to do with us wanting happiness? Again, the answer is simple. It's a natural law that every part, every fraction has a natural love for the whole and wants to become one with it. For example, let's suppose I hold in my hand a piece of dirt. This is made of dirt also. If I hold a piece of dirt in my hand and I let it go, it falls to the earth because it's a fraction of the earth. In the same way, we the individual souls, being eternal fractions of God, naturally love and want only God. But the question comes, if we are part, fraction of God, who is our whole, then why are we separate from Him? Why are we not joined to the whole? Well, from the example I just gave, as long as I continue to hold this piece of dirt in my hand, it will never fall to the earth. It will never fall. But the moment I let it go, it immediately falls to the earth. In the same way, as long as this world, this Maya, continues to hold and attract us, we will never be able to move towards our whole, God. If, however, this hold that Maya has in us, this world has in us, can be somehow be broken, if somehow we can become detached from the world, immediately we'll start moving towards God. So it is natural for every part, every fraction to have a natural love for the whole and want to become one with it. All rivers naturally flow to the ocean, being a fraction of the ocean. If you look at the flame of a fire, wherever the fire is, the flame naturally rises upward. Why? Because it's a fraction of the sun. In the same way, we the Jivatma, the individual souls, being eternal part, fraction of God, naturally love and want only God. The Vedas are in total agreement. Yam sarve devanamanti mumukshavo brahmavadinascha. Vedavyas also agrees. Muktan mukshavo hyanye yam bhajatyachutam vibhu. Every soul naturally love and want only God. Valmiki Maharaj, the great saint Valmiki, says in the Valmiki Ramayana, Loke nahi sa vidyet yo naramamanubrataha. Valmiki Ramayana. He says, it is impossible to find an individual soul who does not truly love and want God. Even if he were to try for uncountable lifetimes not to, he will still love only God and want God. Tulsidas Ji Maharaj says in his Ramayana, Asako Jeev Jantu Jag Mahi Jehi Raghunath Pran Priyanahi. In this Chaupai, Tulsidas Ji Maharaj refers to both the animate as well as inanimate beings and says to all of them, God, Sri Ram is as dear as life itself. Okay. We are part fraction of God, means we want only God. But what does this have to do with us wanting happiness? Only happiness? Okay. To find the answer, we have to go to the Vedas. We go to the Taittiriya Upanishad, the 3rd chapter, in the Taittiriya Upanishad. Tisri Balmika, 3rd chapter. In the 3rd chapter, there is a katha, an incident, narration of a rishi by the name of Bhrigu. Bhrigu Ravai Varuni Varunam Pitaram Upasasar. So there was a rishi by the name of Bhrigu who was the son of Varun. Before he became Maharishi, the question came in his mind, who is God? What is God? It's a question a lot of people have. What is this thing called Bhagavan, God, Ishwar, Paramatma, Supreme Power? So who to ask? If we have some question, who are we going to ask? So Varun, his father, was a Brahma Jnani. In other words, a knower of God, knower of Brahma. Not Atma Jnani, Brahma Jnani. Not self-realized, God-realized. Big difference I mentioned in the previous lectures. So Bhrigu thought, since my father is worthy of being Guru, one of the conditions of Guru is that he must have attained God. He must have attained the knowledge of God. So since my father is worthy of being Guru, I should make him my Guru. So he went and made his father his Guru, Banaya, and then he questioned, Adhihi Bhagavo Brahmeti. Look, in the Gita, Shri Krishna says something very important. Tat viripranipakena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshani te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshina. Chapter 4, verse 34, Gita. If we are so fortunate to meet a true Guru, we cannot make just anybody Guru. This is the problem we have nowadays. Everybody is a Guruji. Shri Krishna says, no, one has to be qualified. What is the qualification? 2 things. Jnaninaha plus tattvadarshina. Jnaninaha means he has complete knowledge. Knowledge of all the Vedas, all the Shastras, all the scriptures, complete knowledge. Plus, he is able to remove our doubts. That is Jnanina. But even more important, he is Tattvadarshina. Meaning, he has seen God, he has attained God, he has seen that supreme power. Tattvadarshina. Then alone, he is qualified to be Guru. If we are so fortunate to meet such an entity, what to do? So that very pranipatena, first thing, completely surrender to him. Number two, pariparishnena. So Sri Krishna is telling us who to question. Ask him question. Acquire true knowledge from him. Not to question to see how much he knows or show how much you know, but because we have a doubt. I don't understand. And number three, sevaya. Do his seva. He will give you the knowledge of God. He will give you all knowledge. So, Varun fulfilled this condition. The father of Bhrigu. So Bhrigu, having made him his guru, he said, Adhihi Bhagavo Brahmeti. O Guruji, please tell me, who is that supreme power? What is that supreme power? Called God, Bhagavan, Ishwar, Paramatma, etc. Who or what is that entity? Varun replied and said, Yato vaimani bhutani jante yin jatani jivanti yat prayatyabhisam vishanti tad vijigyasasva tad brahmeti. Taittiriya Upanishad, chapter 3, verse 1. That from which all beings are born, that by which they are sustained, they live, and that into which they merge upon death, that is God, Bhagavan, Brahma. That from which, that by which, and that into which. Do you understand Bhrigu? Bhrigu was totally confused. Nahi, Guruji. I don't understand. Acha. Sa tapo tapyata sa tapas taptva. Go and do sadhana. Jao sadhana. Do sadhana. I will help. Guru helps. But we have to do sadhana. Guru cannot do sadhana for us. So Bhrigu went and did sadhana, tapasya, and after a while he discovered something. What he discovered? Annam brahmeti vijanat annat deva kalvimani bhutani jayate annena jatani jivanti annam prayanta visam vishanti. Taittiriya Upanishad, chapter 3, verse 2. The word anna means grain, food. From grain alone the entire universe comes into being. Grain alone is that by which we sustain, and grain is that into which we merge upon death. That grain is Brahma, Bhagavan. To make the answer a little bit clearer, how we came to this conclusion, when we eat grain, food, what happens? That food gets converted into juice, ras. Juice gets converted into rakt, blood. Blood into flesh, flesh into muscle, muscle into bone, bone into marrow, and marrow into semen, which is ultimately responsible for birth. Having been born from the grain, we survive by eating the grain. And we ultimately become one with the earth that produces the grain. So from which, by which, into which. All three conditions fulfilled. So he went to Tadvika Purve Varnam Pitaramupasasara. He went to Guru and said, Guruji, Anna, grain, is the supreme entity known as God. Varun remained quiet, meaning he was wrong. So if this is wrong, what is right? So Varun said, Tapasa Brahma Vijigyasasva Tapo Brahmeti Sa Tapo Tapyata. Go and do more sadhana. Practice more. So Bhrigu went, he did more sadhana, more tapasya, and this time he came to the conclusion, Prano Brahmeti Vijanat Prana Deva Kalvimani Bhutani Jante Pranina Jatani Jivanti Pranam Prayanta Visam Vishanti. Taittiriya Upanishad, chapter 3, verse 3. Pran, the life force, is the ultimate reality known as Brahman. From the life force alone, all beings come into being, to life. By the life force we are sustained, and the life force is that into which we merge upon death. We all have to breathe. We don't breathe, we die. So he went, Tat Vigya Gurre Varunam Pidaram Upasasar, and said, Oh Guruji, the Pran, the life force, is the ultimate reality known as Brahma, God. Again, Varun remained silent, meaning he was wrong, and said to him, Tapasa Brahma Vijigyasasva, Tapo Brahmeti Satapo Tapyat, go and do more sadhana. So he continued, and this time he discovered, Mano Brahmeti Vajanat Manaso Yeva Kalvimani Bhutani Jante Manasa Jatani Jivanti Manah Prentya Visam Vishanti. Taittiriya Upanishad chapter 3 verse 4. Man means the mind. The mind is the ultimate reality known as Brahma. The mind is that from which we are born. The mind is that by which we are sustained. And the mind is that to which we merge upon death. The mind is very powerful. This mind will take us to God. This mind will take us to heaven. The mind will take us to hell, to bring us back to this earth. All responsibility lies with the mind alone. So, again he went, Tat Vigya Purne Varnam Pitaram Upasasar, and he said, Guruji, the mind is the ultimate reality known as Brahma. But again, Varun said, no, wrong. Then, Tapasa Brahma Vijigyasasva, Tapo Brahmeti Satapo Tapyata, go and do more sadhana. So Bhrigu continued. He did not get discontented or depressed. He continued. More sadhana. This time he discovered Vijnanam Brahmeti Vajanat Vijnanat Deva Kalvimani Bhutani Jate Vijnanena Jatani Jivanti Vijnanam Brahmeti Vijnanam. Taittiriya Upanishad chapter 3 verse 5. The word Vigyan here means the soul, Atma. Ved is such a thing that every word in the Vedas has thousands of meanings. If you just take a dictionary and translate, you're going to make a big mess. And this is what Western philosophers have done. They have taken dictionary and translated, and they have made a total mess. And we read because we don't know Sanskrit and we think we know everything. Only a true saint can tell us what it means. The Vedas say, Acharyavan Purusho hi Ved. Don't read Vedas by yourself. Go to the saint. One who has attained God, let him tell you what is in Veda. So how do I know? Because my Guru, Jagat Guru Tam Shri Kripalu Mahaprabhu told. The word Vigyan here means soul, Atma. The soul alone is the supreme entity called God. From the soul alone we come into existence. The soul is that by which we sustain. The soul is that into which we merge upon death. Many school of philosophy accepted this. But when Bhrigu went to Varun and said this, Varun said, no, wrong. Galat. So, Satapo Tapyara Satapas Taptva, go and do more sadhana. More sadhana. So he continued. Anando Brahmeti Vajana Anandar Deva Kalvimani Bhutani Jate Anandina Jatani Jivanti Anandam Prayantya Visam Vishanti. Taittiriya Upanishad chapter 3 verse 6. Anand or bliss is the supreme entity known as Brahma, God. For bliss alone the entire universe comes into being. Bliss is that by which we are sustained, and bliss is that into which we merge upon death. Bliss is God. When Bhrigu said this to Varun, "Oh Guruji, God is bliss, bliss is God," Guru smiled. Yes, Bhrigu, now you know. So what did Bhrigu discover? He discovered that God is Anand, bliss, happiness. God is happiness, He is Anand. God is also called Chidanand, Chidanand also, but He is called Sachidanand in the Vedas, in the scriptures. He is also called Chidanand, and He is also referred to as just Anand. But He is never called only Sat or only Chit. What is the science behind this Sat, Chit, Anand in this order? And you will never hear Sat, Anand, Chit, Anand, Sat, Chit, etc. Always Sat first, then Chit, then Anand. There is a science. First, there is Sat, or supreme existence. Then comes Chit, or supreme knowledge. And then comes Anand, or supreme bliss. Sat merges into Chit, so Chit contains both existence as well as knowledge. And Sat and Chit merges into Anand, so Anand contains all three of knowledge, existence as well as bliss. Therefore, God is also called Chidanand. Chidanandamaya deha tumhari, bigat vikar jani adhikari. Sat was left out because it's understood to be included in Chit. In the same way, Sat plus Chit is understood to be included in Anand. This is why the Vedas are saying, Anando Brahmeti Vajanat. So only one has remained. What is that? Ananda Brahma. What am I trying to say? That God is Anand, He is bliss, bliss is God. This is Paryayavachi Shabd. In English you say simile. In other words, whether we say happiness or we say God, Sri Krishna, these are two names for one and the same entity. You have heard people say, we may have also said, that there is bliss in God or God is filled with bliss. That is wrong. So what is correct? God is bliss, He is happiness, and happiness is God. I am not saying this, Veda says, Raso Vaisana Sakvam Hevayam Labdva Nandi Bhavati. Taittiriya Upanishad, chapter 2, verse 7. The Vedas are saying, Raso Vaisa. He is Ras, He is bliss, happiness. If there was bliss in God, the Vedas would have said, Raso Vai Kasmit. But it's not saying that. It's saying, Raso Vai Saha. He is Ras. He is bliss. And look, an example. The word ocean. When you hear the word ocean means an abundance of water. If there's a big hole somewhere but there's no water, you don't call it an ocean. Only when there is an abundance of water that you can't see the other place from one side to another side, we say it's an ocean. And yet people say there is water in the ocean. What do we say? There is water in the abundance of water. Now, to make people understand, we may say there is water in the ocean, but it already is water. In the same way, to make simple people understand, we may say There is bliss in God, happiness in God. But the fact is, God is bliss, He is happiness, and happiness is God. The Vedas say, Ananda eva dhastar, Ananda uparishtaha, Ananda purastah, Ananda paschat, Anando Ananda uttarataha, Anando dakshinataha, Ananda eve dhakvam sarvam. Chandogya Upanishad. There is bliss and bliss alone about Him, above Him, below Him, to His east, to His west, to His north, to His south, all around Him. Anand, Anand, bliss, 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 happiness, happiness, happiness. That ocean of bliss, that ocean of happiness is called God. So now we will understand why we only want happiness. As I told you before, it's a natural law that every part, every fraction has a natural love for the whole and wants to become one with it. All rivers naturally flow to the ocean, being a fraction of the ocean. All flames of fire naturally rise upwards, being a fraction of the sun. So in the same way, we, being eternal fractions of God, naturally love and want only God. And because God is happiness, that's why we all want only happiness. Only. No matter what we do, it may seem to be totally contradictory. Somebody is drinking alcohol, somebody is smoking marijuana, somebody is taking drugs, somebody is going to mandir, praying to God, somebody is beating up someone, somebody is killing someone, somebody is helping. All the actions are different. But all is with one intention only. The wicked person gets happiness, and others pain and suffering. The aim is happiness. And the good people, God and the saints, they are happy when others are happy and they become sad when we are sad. Par dukha dukha, sukha sukha dekhe par. So we all want only happiness. Now, the question comes, people will say, but I have found happiness in the world. I have found happiness. How do you mean that happiness is only in God? Okay, we'll look at that a little bit, but we'll do bhajan and then we'll go into that. So in the books, so we'll put the bhajan on the thing. We're going to do a beautiful bhajan again, written by Jagat Guru Tam Sri Kripalo Mahaprabhu. This bhajan says, one gopi is looking for Krishna. Gopi means those who love Krishna. If you can't see, most of you will see in the screen behind, and if you can't see, there are TVs on the side, also those who are in the back. You can look there also, the screen. Alright? But we should be able to see, hopefully, soon in the back. Unless we explain in the meantime. So this gopi, gopis I told you mean one who loves Krishna only for his happiness and doesn't let anyone know. The word gopi means a one who is so good that their life is Krishna, yet nobody knows. Gopaniyam, gopaniyam, gopaniyam pratnataha. Her life is Krishna. The highest devotees of Sri Krishna were the gopis, the cowherd maidens of Vrindavan, the cow women, the women folks of Braj. So one gopi, she is looking for Krishna, and she says to her Sakhi, a friend, a very close friend, "Oh Gopi, oh Sakhi, have you seen Shyam Sundar? Have you seen Kanhaiya?" And the other Sakhi says, yes, Ramadeki Shamal. So yes, have you seen the dark complexion one? Shamalaga. Shamal means dark complexion. God means the body. So one of dark complexion. Have you seen him? So the gopi said, "Ha, मैंने देखा. मधुर मधुर धुनी बेनु बजावत गैयन पाछे जात रे." Gayyan ke pache. I saw him taking the cows to graze, to pasture. And while he was taking the cows, he was playing that basuri, beautiful. He was playing this basuri, the divine flute, and beautiful, sweet melodies were coming. Madhura, madhura. You can visualize Sri Krishna is taking the cows to graze, and he's playing the basuri. Another, she says also, Kandhe kanakala kuti kamari aru pitambar paharatare. On his shoulder, Kandhe, he had a golden stick. Kanakalaputi. He also had a black kambal. Shri Krishna, when he would go to graze the cows, he would take a blanket, a black blanket with him. Maybe after grazing or sitting in the grass, so he would spread it. Maybe take a little sleep. So he would always have a blanket. Kamari Bari, right? So he has a black blanket. Our pitambar, his clothes are yellow, silken clothes, and it was fluttering in the wind, so beautiful. Chitavani chot chalavat muri muri manda manda muskaat re. While he was going, the gopis, all the women folk of Braj, they know Krishna is taking the cows to graze. They won't see him for the whole day. So they all leave everything in the house, all the housework, and they run out to have the last glimpse of him. And while they're standing looking, he would look at all of them, stealing their heart with sidelong glances. Chittavanichot, and he would smile such a beautiful smile that would steal their heart also. Sangadhana sukha mana sukha Sri Rama aganita sakhana jamatare. Along with him, he wouldn't go alone. There are thousands of cows. So many cows. Nanda Baba alone had 9 lakh guy. 900,000 cows. And all the cowherd boys, so many cowherd boys, thousands. Also with him. But some of the main ones, Dhansukha, Mansukha, Sri Rama, etc. Jhumi kripalu chalat puni dekhat ghumi yashomati madre. So Kripalu Mahaprabhu is saying in the words of that gopi who is describing to a friend that while Sri Krishna is walking, he sways, such a beautiful walk. He sways as he walks, and again he looks back. Puni dekhat. Why? He's turning around, look, because Maya, Yashoda Maya is also standing in the doorway. Until she can't see him again, she keeps looking. So he looks again and again and looks lovingly at Yashoda Maya. So we'll sing this beautiful part. Divine composition by Jagat Guru Tam Kripalu Mahaprabhu. हम देखे श्यामल गात रे, 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 हम देखे श्यामल गात रे। मधुर धुनी तेनु बजावत, मधुर मधुर धुनी तेनु बजावत, मधुर मधुर धुनी तेनु बजावत। ओ गैयन पास जात रे, Swami Let's again try to be attentive, listen carefully. So the question came, some may say, I have found happiness in the world. How can you say that happiness can be found only in God? A girl says, the day I got married was the happiest day in my life. I cried and cried and cried. I was so happy. And after the marriage, I kept crying. Somebody says, the day I got my job was the happiest day of my life. I was dreaming, I was planning and dreaming of this day, and today my dreams came true. But is this true happiness? No. Every happiness we have experienced in this world from beginningless time is not true happiness. Even then, very naive people, simple people would say, I have found happiness in the world. Not big happiness, small. Small happiness. I have a friend, she always says, small. I have found small. Not a great big happiness of God, but I have found happiness in the world. Obviously means these people don't understand what the word happiness, sukha, happiness means. The Vedas, the highest authority, gives a definition for the word sukha, happiness. Yove bhuma tat sukham, bhumaiva sukham, Chandogya Upanishad. That which is infinite, unlimited, eternal, immeasurable, beginningless, is called sukh, happiness. Once attained, it is possessed forever. You will never become separate from it ever again. You will never experience sorrow ever again. Have we experienced that? Something makes us happy now, the next minute we are sad. So where is the happiness? Understand the science. We have understood by now that God is bliss, happiness, Anand. Now, Maya and its product, sorrow, the product of Maya, sorrow, Dukha, cannot overcome bliss. God cannot be overcome by Maya. Maya cannot overcome God. So bliss, happiness cannot be overcome by dukh, sorrow. Just as darkness cannot overcome light, in the same way, sukh, anand, cannot be overcome by dukh. True happiness cannot be overcome by sorrows. This statement we make, somebody says, yesterday was the happiest day of my life. Happiest day. Why? Why was the happiest day of your life? Oh, I became the owner of a brand new motor car, a Lexus. I was so happy. yesterday. And today, where did the happiness go? That was your delusion. What is the delusion? Later on we'll find out some other time. For now, just understand this amount. The true happiness once attained cannot be replaced by sorrow. Once we attain true happiness once, we will never experience sorrow ever again. The great saint Tulsidas says, Soi sukh lavalesh, barik jin sapane ulahai, te nahi kanahi khagesh, brahma sukhahi sajjan sumati. If someone were to experience the tiniest drop of true happiness, even once, even a dream, then he is sure to forget the bliss of the formless absolute Brahman, that which is experienced by the Jnanis. Then what to speak of the mundane pleasures of this world? From this, it is obvious that we have never experienced true happiness, as we are still attracted by the commonest of worldly pleasures. Now, we have always been looking only for happiness. Only from beginningless time. The search of ours has been from beginningless time, eternity. Why? Because we, the Jivatma, the individual soul, is also eternal, beginningless. Yagyau dvavaja vishan ishavaja yeka bhokti bhogyata yukta anantaschatma vishwarupu hyakarta dayam yada vindate brahma meta. Shvetashvatara Upanishad Chapter 1 verse 9. Ajamekam lohit shukla krishnam bhavi praja shrijamanam swarupa ajo heko jushamanunu shete jahatena bhukta bhoga vajonya. Shvetashvatara Upanishad chapter 4 verse 5. Dva suparna sayuja sakhaya samana bhiksham parikasva jate Tayoranya pipalam swatat nasnat nanyo abhichakashiti. Shvetashvatara Upanishad chapter 4 verse 6. The exact translation of this Ved mantra, Shvetashvatara Upanishad chapter 4 verse 6, is found in Bhagavad Mahapurana. Suparna Vedau Sadrishau Sakhayau Yad Chayaitau Kritanidau Javrikshe Ekastayo Khadati Pipalan Manyo Niranno Pibalena Bhuya. Srimad Bhagavad Mahapurana 11th canto, 11th chapter, 6th verse. The gist of all of these mantras, all of them, is that both God, the supreme power, the supreme entity we call God, Bhagavan, Ishwar, Paramatma, and the Jivatma, the individual soul, are both unborn, eternal, beginningless. Never had a beginning, will never have an end. Shri Krishna says in the Gita, Mamevansho Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. Chapter 15 verse 7 Gita, Sanatan Ansh, eternal. The word Sanatan means eternal, beginningless. Never had a beginning, will never have an end. This has been used to describe the soul, Atma. It's an eternal part, fraction of Sri Krishna God. He is saying, many places in Gita, this truth, this fact, is certified. Na jayate mriyate va kadachinnayam bhutva bhavitavan bhuya ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano Nahanyate hanyamane sharire. Chapter 2, verse 20, Gita. Krishna said to Arjuna, the Jivatma, the individual soul, never takes birth, nor does it die, nor having come into existence does it cease to be, because it is unborn, eternal, and most ancient. It is not destroyed, even when the body is destroyed. Nahanyate hanyamane sharire. Nainam chindati shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka, nachainam klirayantyapu, nashoshayati maruta, achedyo yamadayoya, makledyo shoshya evacha, nitya sarvatasthanu rachaloyam sanatana. Gita chapter 2 verse 23 and 24. The Jivatma, the individual soul, is Sanatana, Nitya, eternal, beginningless, indestructible. It cannot be caught by any weapon. Chindanti shastrani, no weapon can cut it. Fire cannot burn it. Apaha, water cannot wet it. Marutu, it cannot be dried by the wind. It is the same forever. Vasansi jivnani yatha vihaya navani grihnati naroparani atha sharirani vihaya jivna nanyani sayyati navani dehi. Chapter 2 verse 22 Gita. Sri Krishna says, look, everybody changes clothes, discards them after a while. Some people wait till it gets very old. Their holes. I think nowadays is a style. It's a style to wear clothes with big holes. And yeah, some people get till it actually gets old. Some people wear it one time and then discard it. One time. I'm not going to wear this again. So just as we wear clothes in the world and discards it after some time, in the same way the body soul discards bodies and takes on new ones. New ones. In the world somebody has clothes, some people like clothes. Oh, they keep buying. Closets and closets full of dresses and saris, shirts and ties and pants. How much? 50? 100? Bas, that's all. The soul changes 8.4 million types of clothes. Akar 4 lakh 84 yoni bhramat yah jeev avinashi. Bhagwan Shri Ram, God, is saying to the residents of Ayodhya, the Jivatma, the individual soul, is avinashi, indestructible, eternal. But it keeps rotating. Brahmata, it keeps rotating according to its action. It keeps rotating in 8.4 million forms of life. And when we're going to leave the body, some people think when Sri Krishna says old, but in this Kali Yuga there is no guarantee about old or young. When the soul is going to leave the body, Prahlad said to the Asura Balaks, he was given lecture, he put all the boys in this Gurukul to sit and he gave a lecture. And he said, Kaumar Acharet Pragyo. Hey, from now, not too small, too young, from now. Start thinking about God. Devote yourself spiritually. Many people think we should wait till we are old age. But we have no guarantee that we'll live to see an old age. We can't even guarantee we'll see tomorrow. And yet we keep thinking, not right now, I'm too busy right now. Prahlad said, all that you're supposed to acquire in the world is going to come to you. You don't have to worry about that. वो अपने आप आ जाएंगे. Think about the value of this human birth, and one of the biggest faults it has, at which moment we can lose it, nobody knows. Don't think, it's too young, too early. No. Anyhow. So, we keep rotating. 8.4 million, that's we just change clothes. The soul is changing clothes, that's all. The Gita says, Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sata, ubhayorapi dushtotas, panayos tattvatarshibhe, chapter 2, verse 16, Gita. The unreal can never exist, and the real can never become non-existent. Both of these are seen only by the laws of truth. In the Ramayana, Tara, when Bali, the Bali prince, was killed by Shri Ram, his wife Tara started to cry, beat in her chest, her hairs disheveled, wailing and weeping. Bhagwan Shri Ram looked at Tara and said, Pragata sutanu tava aage sova, jiva nitya kehi lagi tumarova. Hey Tara, why are you crying? If it's for the dead body of your husband, it is for the body, his life. Sharir aapke saamne lit, his life there. On the other hand, if you're crying for the soul that has left the body, then your crying is in vain. Because the soul, the Atma, who he really is Nitya, eternal, indestructible. So we have always been looking for happiness. How big it is this time? And yet, we have not found even the tiniest drop. Even once, even a dream. And that's the reason for all our tensions, all the stress, all the problems in the world. How are we going to find that happiness? Is there a way for us to begin? Bhrigu found out that Sri Krishna alone is happiness. If we want to find happiness, then we have to find Sri Krishna. But how? So we'll hear some more about that next lecture. This is enough for now. Bole Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai, Radha Rani ki jai, Srimad Sadguru Sarkar ki jai, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe.
Radha, thank you very much, Swamiji, for the informative talk. And thank you very much, the temple, especially Sam Uncle, for hosting us. So tomorrow is the last day of this series. Same timing, same place, so please do come here. And Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, Swamiji will be spending his last day in Singapore, and we are organizing a special satsang at our permanent center at 43 Cup Road, Radha Kunj, at 7:30 p.m. all the way till 9 p.m. So please do try to come there, 7:30 to 9 p.m., 43 Cup Road, Radha Kunj. We also organize weekly satsangs every Sunday from 10:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the same place, 43 Cup Road, Radha Kunj. And we also have a bookstore at the back with a wide collection of books, so please do check them out. right at the back on the right side. And we also have a website and a Facebook page under Radha Madhav Satsang. So if you'd like to know more about us, you can find out more about us on those pages. And if you'd like to be informed about such programs in the future, please leave your contact number and email address at our reception desk at the back, because we organize such talks 3 to 4 times a year. And we have this feedback form right here. We'd like to kindly request you all to scan this QR code and leave us some feedback so we can improve our services. And dinner prasad will be available at level 3 after this, after Aarti, yes. So please have prasad after Aarti. That would be all from me. Radhe.
Radhe, Radhe. So let's give Kirti a big round of applause for what we done. Thank you, Kirti. Okay, so before we're going to do Aarti, and before that, just to mention to you, as Kirti told you, that we have a bookstall at the back. We have many books and carousels, etc. The philosophy will be here a couple of days, and we'll be here tomorrow also. This has all been given to me by my Guru, Jagat Guru Tam Shri Kripalu Mahaprabhu. All his philosophies contained and much more in a wonderful book called Prem Ras Siddhant, or we can say Philosophy of